Every man thinks he's safe until the moment he realizes he isn't. You think you found someone genuine, someone who finally matches your energy. She says all the right things, mirrors your emotions, and gives you that sense of comfort you've been craving. You start to relax. You stop paying attention. And that's when it happens. You miss the small things, the inconsistencies, the subtle shifts in tone, the little red flags that seem too minor to matter. You tell yourself it's nothing. You tell yourself she's different. But attraction has a way of blinding men to the truth that's staring them right in the face. She tells you what you want to hear because it's easier than telling you what's real. She plays the role perfectly because she knows exactly what you're looking for. And while you're busy falling for her words, you forget that loyalty isn't spoken, it's demonstrated. A woman's loyalty isn't proven when things are easy. It's revealed in moments of temptation, in the quiet choices no one sees. Ignore that reality and you'll join the long list of men who thought their situation was special, who believed they were the exception, only to discover they were just another story in the same painful pattern. I don't want that for you. I've spent years studying relationships, seeing the same cycle repeat again and again. Men lose time, peace, and self-respect because they confuse charm with character, attention with affection, and validation with love. The truth is simple, loyalty isn't something you inspire in someone, it's something they already carry within them. You can't teach integrity. You can't beg for consistency. You can only recognize the signs early enough to walk away before it costs you years of your life. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. The first sign is in how she presents herself to the world. She dresses like she's advertising, not expressing. There's a quiet but powerful difference between a woman who has style and a woman who uses her appearance as a strategy. You can tell the difference by her intention. Some women dress well because they love fashion, confidence, and self-expression. But a woman who constantly seeks the spotlight through what she wears isn't doing it for herself, she's doing it for an audience. Every revealing outfit, every overly suggestive pose, every calculated angle tells a story. It's not creativity. It's marketing. And here's the truth, she's not marketing to you. You already made your choice. You already showed interest. That display is for the world. It's for the wandering eyes, the silent admirers, the digital applause she can't live without. She'll tell you the classic line, I dress for myself. But think about it, nobody spends hours perfecting their look, standing in front of a mirror, picking the right lighting, slipping into clothes that barely allow them to breathe, just to feel good privately. It's about validation. Every glance from a stranger is a tiny dopamine rush that whispers, I still have options. And that's the danger most men miss. When a woman constantly needs that outside attention, your admiration will never be enough. You'll find yourself competing with every man who gives her a glance, every comment, every like, every ego boost she gets from being desired. That's not confidence. That's insecurity dressed up as empowerment. A loyal woman doesn't need to prove her worth to strangers. She already knows who she belongs to. She doesn't chase the spotlight. She carries peace in her presence, not a need to be seen. The second sign shows up in her online world. Look closely at her social media, because it's one of the clearest mirrors of who she really is. If her profile looks less like a personal space and more like a stage, you're not in a relationship, you're watching a performance. Every post, every selfie, every story seems crafted for maximum attention. The camera isn't just capturing her life, it's feeding her need for validation. When every angle is designed to highlight her body, when every caption reads like bait for comments, that's not self-expression, it's marketing. And what does marketing attract? Attention. Prospects. Options. She might defend it with lines like, I just like sharing my life, or it's for my fitness journey. But you'll notice the difference between genuine sharing and deliberate exposure. Genuine posts are about experiences, attention posts are about reactions. If her pictures always push the edge, if her stories always end up with men replying fire emojis or heart eyes, and she engages them with playful replies or subtle teasing, that's a pattern, not a coincidence. Here's the math no one wants to admit, exposure plus attention equals temptation. And the more she lives for that, the more her loyalty fades. You can't compete with the endless stream of digital approval. She's addicted to the rush that comes from being wanted by strangers. Every like is a little reminder that she has options beyond you. A loyal woman doesn't need to be seen by thousands. Her validation comes from the relationship she's building, not from the crowd she's entertaining. She invests her energy into connection, not performance. If her social media feels like a show, understand this: you're not her partner. You're just part of her audience. The third sign hides in her past, the part most men choose to overlook because they want to believe they're the exception. You meet her and she tells you she used to be wild, always out with friends, always chasing excitement, but that was the old her. She swears she's grown, that she's ready for something serious. And you want to believe her. You want to think you're the reason she changed. But the truth is, patterns don't vanish, they resurface. The party girl doesn't disappear. She just goes dormant until life gets too quiet. You can't erase years of living off attention and adrenaline. That kind of thrill rewires the brain. It becomes her baseline. When things calm down, when life starts to feel predictable, she begins to crave the same chaos she once lived for. You'll start to notice the signs. Suddenly she needs girls' nights again. Suddenly she reconnects with old party friends who just happened to text her out of nowhere. Suddenly she starts talking about how she misses feeling young. That's not nostalgia, it's the itch of addiction returning. And here's the part most men don't want to hear. You can't reform that. You can't fix it with love, security, or commitment. Because to someone wired for excitement, peace feels like boredom. The stability you bring will be mistaken for stagnation. And when she feels trapped by routine, she'll look for escape. Not because you failed, but because her old habits never truly died. They were just sleeping. A loyal woman doesn't need chaos to feel alive. She doesn't crave the crowd, the attention, or the drama of her past. But a woman who's addicted to the high of being desired will always chase it again, no matter who's standing beside her. The fourth sign shows up in the company she keeps. Pay attention to her circle. If she has more male friends than female ones, that's not a coincidence, it's a choice. She'll say, "I just get along better with guys," as if that's something to be proud of. But that statement usually hides something deeper. Women understand women. They can see through manipulation, gossip, attention-seeking, and games. So when she can't maintain friendships with women, it often means she doesn't like being held accountable by people who see through her patterns. Those guy friends she surrounds herself with aren't there out of pure friendship. Men don't orbit women they have no attraction to. They stay around hoping for a chance, waiting for an opening. She knows it too. That's why she keeps them close. They feed her ego, keep her entertained, and give her backup options if things with you ever fall apart. Every time one of them comments on her picture or texts her late at night, it's another reminder that she still has attention waiting for her. You'll notice how she protects those friendships fiercely. The moment you question one, she'll call you insecure or controlling. But she knows exactly what she's doing. Those men aren't harmless, they're placeholders. And by keeping them close, she's quietly sabotaging her ability to be loyal. Because loyalty requires exclusivity, not just physically, but emotionally too. A loyal woman naturally sets boundaries that make her relationship her priority. She doesn't keep a private roster of men who give her validation on the side. But a woman who thrives on male attention will always leave the door cracked open for it. And when loyalty becomes inconvenient, one of those friends will be the first to walk through. The fifth sign is in how she talks about her past. Listen closely when she tells you stories about her exes, because the way she describes them reveals more about her than it does about them. If every man she's ever dated was a narcissist, abusive, manipulative, or toxic, you're not hearing truth, you're hearing a script. Every ex can't be the villain. When every relationship ends with her blaming the man, there's one common denominator: her. That pattern isn't coincidence, it's emotional deflection. She's rewriting her past to protect her ego. This kind of woman never takes responsibility for her part in what went wrong. She'll tell you she was loyal, patient, forgiving, but somehow every man betrayed her. That's not growth, that's denial. And denial breeds repetition. Because if she never owns her behavior, she never learns from it. She'll repeat the same mistakes again and again, and when things fall apart with you, she'll simply add your name to her list of villains. It's already part of her story. She doesn't need healing, she needs accountability. But accountability doesn't come easy to someone addicted to sympathy. She thrives on being seen as the one who was hurt, the one who gave everything, the one who was wronged. That narrative keeps her blameless and emotionally untouchable. A loyal woman doesn't hide behind the victim role. She's self-aware enough to admit when she contributed to a problem. She doesn't rewrite history to look perfect. She learns, grows, and changes. But the woman who turns every man into an enemy is dangerous. Because once she runs out of exes to blame, she'll turn her focus on you. And when she does, no matter how loyal you were, the story will end the same way. You'll be the next villain in her tale. The sixth sign shows up in how she handles conflict. Pay attention to how she reacts when things don't go her way, because that's when a person's real character comes out. A loyal woman fights to understand. She listens, even when she's hurt. But a disloyal one fights to win. She'll twist your words, bring up old mistakes, or turn the conversation into a power struggle. Her goal isn't resolution, it's control. When she feels her grip slipping, she'll weaponize emotion. Tears, silence, or guilt trips become her tools to steer the situation back in her favor. She'll say things like, "You just don't care," or "You always make me feel this way," framing herself as the victim until you're the one apologizing for setting a boundary. That's not communication, it's manipulation. And the danger is, it works. Most men give in to keep the peace. But what they don't realize is that every time they surrender, they teach her something, that emotional chaos gets results. So she'll keep using it. You'll start noticing the pattern. Every disagreement turns into drama. Every attempt to discuss something serious becomes about her feelings. Over time, you stop bringing things up, not because everything's fine, but because you're tired of the cycle. That's how emotional control shifts hands, quietly, without you noticing. A loyal woman doesn't weaponize vulnerability. She uses her emotions to connect, not manipulate. She values peace over control, understanding over dominance. But a woman who thrives on emotional games will always create storms, because storms are where she feels most powerful. And if you keep letting her pull you into them, she'll never stop. She doesn't want balance, she wants to win, even if it means burning the relationship to the ground. The seventh sign shows up in how she handles attention from other men. Every woman gets approached, complimented, or messaged, it's part of modern life. But how she responds to it says everything about her loyalty. A loyal woman shuts it down. She doesn't entertain, she doesn't flirt back, and she doesn't keep those messages as harmless conversations. She draws clear lines because she respects what she has. But the woman you can't trust never truly closes the door. She leaves it slightly open, just enough to feel desired, just enough to remind herself she still has options. She might say, "It's just a compliment," or "I can't control who messages me." And she's right, she can't control who reaches out. But she can control how she reacts. If she's replying with emojis, friendly teasing, or innocent banter, she's not being polite, she's feeding her ego. Because for some women, validation is oxygen. They crave it more than connection. It's not about liking those men, it's about being liked by them. You'll notice she hides those conversations too. The quick screen turn, the phone flipped face down, the notifications muted. It's not that she's doing something extreme, but she's doing just enough to blur the line between respect and temptation. And the moment things get rough between you two, those men become her emotional safety net, the ones she vents to, the ones who tell her she deserves better. That's how disloyalty begins, not with cheating, but with emotional escape routes. A loyal woman doesn't need backup attention to feel valued. Her loyalty isn't tested by temptation, it's proven by how she responds to it. But the woman who can't live without attention will always find a way to keep it coming, even if it means risking everything she already has. The eighth sign is in how she handles distance. Every relationship goes through moments where life gets busy, where communication slows, or where you're not as available as you used to be. A loyal woman understands that space doesn't mean disinterest. She stays steady, patient, and secure, trusting the bond over her emotions. But a disloyal woman sees distance as an opportunity. The moment she feels your energy pull back, she starts searching for attention elsewhere. She needs to feel desired at all times, and if it's not coming from you, she'll find someone else to fill that void. At first, it's subtle. She posts more revealing pictures, suddenly goes out with friends, or starts getting dressed up for reasons that don't make sense. Her online activity spikes when your communication drops. Those aren't coincidences, they're responses. She's using attention as a coping mechanism, a way to prove to herself that she's still wanted. Because for her, validation isn't a bonus, it's a form of survival. A loyal woman will miss you, but she won't replace you. She channels that space into self-growth, focus, or simply patience. She trusts that your absence doesn't mean abandonment. But a woman who equates attention with worth can't handle stillness. She'll start entertaining new conversations, reconnecting with old friends, or subtly seeking energy from men who make her feel seen again. That's why emotional discipline matters. Because when you're unavailable, her behavior tells you the truth. If she stays consistent when you pull away, she's loyal. But if her need for attention flares up the moment you create space, understand this, she was never truly yours. Her loyalty was conditional, and the condition was your constant attention. The moment that faded, so did her commitment.